What's going on, ladies and DeGents? Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of the Distinguished DeGents podcast, your one in many homes of degenerate gambling. I am one half of the Distinguished DeGents here on this lovely Friday evening. I am Steve, Big Bucks of Beta, and joining me as always, it is my co-host, partner in gambling, not the happiest guy on the right today, but it is the one and only. It is Jason Money Mansmann. Boy, oh boy. We got a lot to talk about today. We have a lot of
takeaway.
Yeah, we got a lot to get through here, and as you couldn't tell, we have a little bit of a different overlay here. Had a little bit of a technical issue getting set up today, so we're kind of just rolling with the punches. So far, not too bad. Money Mansmann, though. Thursday Night Football. This arguably might have been the worst fucking Thursday Night Football game I think I've ever seen all year, to say the least. But, I mean, this was historically bad. This was everything you could expect and more in a Jets game. But, I mean, God, what the fuck happened? This was your dog of the week, so let's start with that. This week is, oh, by the way, this week I've specially named it's Sin City because Mr. Mansmann has a couple Cinerators he needs to pay up.
Yeah,
so
there's a storm coming. There's a storm coming.
Yeah, let's get into this though. Jets 21, Texans 13. I had a fishy feeling about this game. This was your dog of the week. What were you actually? I remember we kind of talked about this. I remember we really went into it and I couldn't really get my words out because it was like every argument I had, I wanted to take the Jets. But like, again, one of those moments you freeze up live because you're like, am I really about to take the Jets? And I couldn't do it. I couldn't justify it. I was going to pick the Texans either way. I did pick the Texans. Waited till 2.5. Didn't seem to matter. So, Mansmann, what happened?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think back. Like, I haven't been good on Thursdays. I think I lost last Thursday. I think I'm under 500 for Thursdays. I haven't been good picking Thursdays. I should really stop. What happened? Now, maybe I discounted the injuries to the Texans on their O-line receiving core. I'll admit that. I think I have a tendency to discount injuries sometimes. I think I need to pay attention to that a little bit more. I'll give you that. But I still like the handicap. I mean, what did the Jets do? They do what the Jets do. They score a touchdown. The guy drops the ball. They don't get a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers, still washed. I don't care what you said. This is let's be honest. What did it take to beat me? Garrett Wilson becoming Jesus. Like, that was it. That's just fine. And let's be honest, even then, ticky-tack, illegal contact penalty keeps the drive alive. It just felt like with this game, and I don't know, I don't want to be one of those guys rigged, but like every penalty went against Houston. They had so many chances to win the game, and CJ Bumhead would fumble the ball, take a killer sack. They missed a 21-yard field goal. I mean, Houston
that was a killer.
Did everything they could to lose the game. Everything.
Yep. There's Kaimi Fairbairn getting me an extra 3 points on the field goal line, 20 yards.
And it's gone.
Yep, that's essentially my betting week Thursday. I had the money. Actually did shockingly okay. Had 4 player prop bets that I put in. I should have hit 3, but unfortunately only hit 2. I had Aaron Rodgers 2 touchdown passes at plus money. That came in very nicely. Appreciate that, Aaron, because I had a feeling this Texans defense was going to be frauds. And really, it was kind of a little way of hedging the 2.5 because I had a bad feeling about this spot for the Texans. So I was like, let me play some Jets props. Let me see if they come in. But I had Joe Mixon over 80.5 rushing yards. That was fucking hit by halftime, so that was nice to see. Davante Adams. I don't know, man. Like, I thought I made the right move. Well, really, I didn't. It was a donkey situation, but I did it. Had a unit and a half. Devontae Adams, anytime touchdown prop play. Really loved him getting the targets. Really thought Aaron Rodgers would get it to him. Then he hits his head, goes in the back. Don't see him for essentially a half of football. And I'm just scrolling, and I go, well, they'll give me a quarterback, like literally 25 cents. And I'm like, you know what? Like, he's not coming back. Literally, like, I'll just take it just because, like, I know I'm going to re-roll it. It's a fucking quarter. I'll do a DFS lineup with it for shits and giggles on some bullshit line. Literally, 2 plays later, Devontae Adams comes back on the line. Aaron Rodgers throws him the ball, and he runs it in for the fucking end zone, and he gets a touchdown.
That might be Cinnerator right there.
It is. So whenever you're ready, Mr. Mansmann, that alone right there was Cinnerator for me.
You gotta save that. You gotta save that because I'm not with you. You're saving that. We gotta get together this weekend. I owe like 17 cents.
All right, fine. We'll get together. We'll cash in the Cinnies then. All right. But yeah, that was my betting week. Literally where it was like, wow, really did good on the player props. Didn't pick the Texans right, even though I waited for the 2.5 like a sharp. Fucking was on the wrong side. Had a feeling I was on the wrong side the whole time. But then again, when there's 16 points off the board. Yeah, we were. I mean, because let's be honest, if Corley doesn't drop that ball, there's a 7-point swing just to kick it off. You forget that
I don't understand Houston's game plan. They were running the ball really well and then threw it at like the most inopportune times. Like I didn't just very frustrating game because I don't feel like I didn't go from the first snap and it's like, geez, Houston's such a bad bat. Like, what an idiot. Like, I felt really good for a long time. And it was just Houston like every single time. Dumb penalty. The Jets, for once, got no flags against them, like almost at all.
We had a couple, but it wasn't nearly as bad as we were used to. No, honestly, like when the Corley touchdown hit, I knew this game wasn't going the right way. It was just the Jets being the Jets. This was literally like, wow. And honestly, that was the reason why I picked the 2.5, because I was like, the Jets won't lose because I don't think they're the inferior team or that this isn't the right spot for them to win. I was like, no, if everything, I thought like this is where the Jets would win. But how many Jets games have we seen where this kind of shit just happens and they shoot themselves in the foot and they lose? And this just happened again on Thursday Night Football. Corley drops the ball on a fucking late third down. They get a PI and the Texans get to keep driving the ball with 2 minutes to go. Normal circumstances, you think what? The Texans left 6 off the board. So if there was a 7 and a 6, what are we looking at? A 28-19. So the Texans aren't driving for like 2 scores. They're driving to tie the game up. Like, it's a whole different narrative, really. But to be honest,
it literally takes a superhuman effort from Garrett Wilson to beat us. Like,
I mean, touchdown of the year. What else can we say? I mean, he had a hell of a fucking game. Literally could only catch with his right hand, but he still fucking came in clutch. And you know,
it's honest because I don't even think he really caught it. Like, I don't think that was the catch. I don't.
It was absurd. I mean, that's another thing too, if you think about it. Like, but I mean, you think about it. If Corley had the one that was let go, like that just felt like a makeup. But I agree with you. I couldn't believe.
You could. I mean, I don't know why the Jets don't feature Garrett Wilson as their number one. Never really made it. And Houston, you have Stingley, and let's just have him guard the Mike Williams the whole game. I don't know. Houston just...
They're no good. I tried telling you. Houston sucks. They're not as good of a team this year. I don't know why they're so high on the power rankings. They're like my bottom 15 teams in the league. Like, there's other bad teams.
Yeah, I think this is a Houston downgrade, not a Jets upgrade. The Jets are who I thought they were. That's
100%. No, the Jets are the Jets, but the Texans, this is a significant downgrade. And call it because of injuries, call it for whatever reason, but like there is just something going on with this team this year. They're not blowing anybody out, really, except for the one game against the Patriots. They're kind of doing everything they can to blow covers, it seems. In games like you would think they'd win easily, they're losing. There's just some... I don't know if it's the like sophomore slump. I don't know if this is like D'Amico Ryan's getting figured out now in this league and he's kind of struggling to adapt. I'm not sure.
Maybe it's the injuries. I mean, without the receivers, like I said, and I'll last point on this game. I think one of my weaknesses that sometimes I discount the injuries a little bit too much. And I really discounted, like, Houston had Tank Dell, who the Jets somehow still allowed to get over 100 yards. I don't understand. Like, literally, Tank Dell was the only guy he could throw to. Like, no one else did anything. And the Jets still just left them wide open. Yeah, I discounted the injuries. That was my mistake. But I salvaged the game just because I was on the unders. Jets team total under at 23.5. So I'm live with the parlay there. I'm live with an under parlay. And I'm live with another bet. I think I teased Houston up. And so I'm live. I have 3 live.
God. So speaking of teasing Houston live, I had a 5-leg teaser without 4-1 that I really fucking loved. Except my dumbass got the Texans on this teaser at 1.5, which means the teaser went up to 7.5, and I just yeah, just fucking dumb. Let's bet the Texans 2.5, but let's not get the teaser at 2.5. Let's do it at 1.5. Fucking donkey move. That's all I gotta say. Just I should have lost more money, but I'm on the player props. I'm looking to play them more this week. So with that said, I got a little bit of opening remarks. Really quick couple questions. So brutal end of Thursday. We owe some Cinerators, but what are you looking for this week on week 10? We had a last week where every team played. We have 2 teams on the bye. Not too many non-conference spots. We have more division games, I think, this week and anything, but a lot of like interesting matchups. Like, not that you would like it on paper, but like when you watch it, there's a feeling that like some sharps are saying bad games could be the games of the week. I'm not sure I'm tracking, so maybe you could give some insight. Like, what are you looking for and anticipating this week?
This is a scary week because I feel like the sharps are due. And that Thursday game was like a sharp game that hit. The Publix won a couple weeks in a row. We've been waiting for the shoe to drop. And there's some really like just weird, interesting spots. A couple teams coming off weird losses. I'm curious to see what happens this week. I think this is going to be a tough week. Maybe I'm a little shattered from Thursday night. I think it's going to be a tough one.
It's definitely a tough week for me. Surprisingly, last week I didn't get through every game in my handicap, so some of my picks were very much gut plays. This week I pretty much got to all but one. And really the one was kind of like a toss-up anyways, where I did look at things, I just couldn't make a side. This does feel like a sharp week. This feels like a week where the books and the sharps are going to rake and get their money back. I think we're going to see a lot of downward trajectories for the trends. Otherwise, like a lot of big spread favorites and a lot of mid spreads. There's really like I think 1 or 2 where it's like a point or less or 2 points or less. There's not too many. So I feel like this is a week for me. There might be teams I take the points with, but not necessarily on the money line. And honestly, there might be some where like a lot of people think this is going to be a big shootout or a really boring game, and I think it's going to be the opposite. I think we're just going to I think this is a week of surprises.
Yeah, I have a feeling as well.
All right. Any other final thoughts, concerns, anything you want to get into before we kick this off?
No, buddy. Let's get into it. Let's get freaky.
Here we go. We're getting freaky. We're into week 9, and we unfortunately have to start it off with this bad game. It's the New England Patriots taking 3.5 points on the road, coming off of the win against the Jets. They're traveling as 152 dogs to Tennessee, who is laying 3.5 at home. They're minus 180 favorites. Over-under is set at 38.5 total points. Boy, oh boy, Mansmann. The Patriots are getting 70% of the bets on the spread, and they're getting 66% of the money. Believe it is technically your turn to go. You can defer if you want, though. This is probably going to be dog shit game of the week, but I don't know. What's your insight here?
I mean, so there's a part of me that really wants to go. New England just won a game. They're really bad. Tennessee has been humiliated for 2 straight weeks now. There's a part of me that really, I don't know what I want to do with this game. This one's been driving me crazy for the whole week. Like, the sharp part of me is thinking, Tennessee's been embarrassed 2 straight weeks. The line looks fishy. Why are the Titans? This almost looks like the Jets game a little bit. Why are the Titans laying 3.5 points? Like, New England, they just won their Super Bowl. They just got a win. First time in a long time. Tennessee's been embarrassed. Discount Josh Allen's coming back. The Patriots are going to have Jacoby Brissett. They're in the game.
Wait, Discount Josh is back?
I think Discount Josh is going to be back this week.
Hold on. Let me check.
Trying to see. I think the Titans are hopeful that he could play. I got to see.
TBD.
TBD? Okay.
TBD.
Okay. For me, here's where I think I go with this game, and this is going to be the early cop-out of the week. Patriots team total under. I know we've talked about the Titans defense. I know they've gotten – well, no, I can't even say they got skewered by Detroit. Their special teams got skewered by Detroit. Now, the Bills were successful. Detroit's been successful, but this is a massive drop in class for Tennessee. This, for me, spread-wise, absolute no bet. I think if you're going to play this game, I know me, I'm probably going to play Patriots team total under. I heard a sharp, your buddies from SGPN, shout out to them. They said that really the key thing in this game was the Titans defense is probably the best unit on the field. I think I'm in agreement with that. That's where I would look. In terms of a pick, I don't want to give the Force people trash. I don't know what I'm going to do for this on the contest. I'm curious to hear what you say. Maybe you'll sway me one way or another.
Maybe. I did say this was a dog shit game of the week, but this is actually going to be my dog of the week. I'm taking the New England Patriots plus 152. No. Yeah, no. Look. What? I'll be honest with you. The other underdogs this week, I'm not that confident in. This is me introducing the auto fade list. The Tennessee Titans have lost and failed to cover more than 3 straight. Do I think the Titans are the better team than the Patriots? Yeah, I do. Do I think the New England Patriots are kind of coming off their Super Bowl? I don't think so, not really. Only because, like, in years past, this was a spot they've always wanted. I'm not too surprised this happened. And it's like the mindset of the Jets are the Jets, but we're also going to say the New England Patriots won their Super Bowl. I don't get that. I kind of think it's one or the other. For me, I think the Jets just did Jets things. They lost that game. A game they probably should have won. Not necessarily that New England's coming off their Super Bowl. But do I want to bet on the Tennessee Titans, who literally lost on that special teams that you mentioned, against the Detroit Lions, where now the Titans are on the biting kneecaps trend, where the teams have gone 0-5 straight up in ATS after playing the Lions. And look, if you want to tell me that the spread home field advantage is key, why the fuck are we considering this with the Titans that have lost 6 of their last 7 at home outright? They've lost 5 of their last 6 against AFC opponents at home. Why are we giving them a home field advantage at all? So I think that's wrong. So take away half a point there. And look, you could say the Patriots haven't won or covered a road game at all this year either, but like, if you look at this win total and you look at the schedule early in the preseason, didn't this just seem like one of the spots where this could happen? I had Pats on the win total over. It does look bad right now, but this is a Titans team that's pretty much all but given up on the season already, in my opinion. If they haven't, they really should consider. We all know what the Patriots are. The Patriots have kind of committed to a rebuild. They're kind of just seeing what they've got right now. And again, like, you could say defensively the Titans are better on paper, but they've given up 196 points to opponents this year. That's literally one less than the Patriots right now. They've got 197. And offensively at the quarterback position,
they gave up 50 to Detroit, though.
But still, I mean, like, that's defense, special teams. Like, I mean, I get where you're coming from, and that, don't get me wrong, but, at the same time, like, offensively, like, you can't win if you don't score. And Mason Rudolph, if he does end up starting, he's supposed to be better than Will Levis. He supposedly moves the ball down the field better. He's not really putting up many more points on the board for Tennessee than Will Levis was. In the 3 games that Mason Rudolph was playing, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, a 52.9 completion percentage, 566 passing yards, a 54 QBR. Will Levis in his first 3 games, though, 579 passing yards, 67.9 completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, but the 5 picks, and a 30.6 QBR. So really, Will Levis, like, you have to remember, he didn't get benched for the good things. He got benched because he kept turning the ball over. Mason Rudolph, like, doesn't score either. He also turns the ball over. So I just don't really see a competitive edge there at quarterback. Like, it doesn't make a difference to me. And if Will Levis is starting, the Patriots plus the points was definitely my play. At 3.5, where it hasn't moved, I'm kind of hoping by game time, if the line moves again and Will Levis ends up getting the Titans points and it goes up higher, you best believe I'm hitting that spread. Mason can move the ball down the field. I just don't know if he's going to get the points on the board, unless it's like in field goal range. And the Titans haven't scored.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I had one last point. Like, this Titans offense, too, like, they haven't scored more than 2 touchdowns in a game all year. And a lot of that was garbage time. So it's like, do we really it's a fishy line. I think it's a trap line. Like, the Jets, I had a bad feeling. This game, I'm like, the Titans should not be laying this many points against anybody. And honestly, I don't even know if they win this one. I could see them losing outright. So, this is my dog of the week. It's scary, but I'm going with it.
I think, you know how Thursday I talked you into Houston? I think you talked me into New England. You know me, my thing's always been, when in doubt, take the points. I don't think this is going to be – I don't even know if I'm going to bet in any capacity the Patriots. But, I just feel like in this game, if you're going to play it, when in doubt, take the points. Like, this is 100% garbage. Yeah.
100%. And as far as the over-under, this is an under game for me. I think, like you said, the Patriots team total under, I can't fault you there. If Drake May starts, I think that number is going to increase, and then you definitely hit the under. So I may wait till kickoff to see who's starting, or wait till a decision is made at that point. I don't know if it's been announced yet. But again, like, for the points I've mentioned, the Titans aren't exactly scoring either. So I see this as a deadbolt, boring under game. So, under team total, or under total there, under Patriots team total, endorse that one. Mm-hmm. All right. Any other player props, or are you good?
No, I'm done with that one.
All right, here we go. All right, we have another Donko game of the week. It's a division rivalry, though. It's the New Orleans Saints. They're laying 7.5 on the road. They're minus 350. Road favorites, division road favorite. They're traveling to Carolina, who's a 280 home underdog. No surprise there. Over-under is 43.5. Both these teams have lost 5 straight at least. Both of these teams are on my auto fade list. It is a battle of the auto fades. New Orleans getting 70% of the money and 58% of the bets. Oh boy. All right. Well,
I guess
yeah, I think it's my go. Yeah, the battle of the auto fades. Both these teams suck balls. I think in terms of my betting slips regarding the teams, I want no parts of this game. It's New Orleans or nothing on the money line. But disgustingly enough, I think at 7.5, which is, it's a 7.5. I got to take the Panthers at 7.5. It was literally this spot a year ago that like the Texans came off an ugly win. They then went on the road to Carolina after Carolina lost by double their score, 21-42 to Miami. Now we have the Saints. They're coming off a real ugly loss against the Chargers, going on the road to Carolina after Carolina lost by double the score to Denver, 28-14. Okay, besides that, look, I just really don't love the idea of laying this many points with a Saints team. They're also on auto fade. Spencer Rattler is a scrub. He sucks at quarterback. He is no good. What a bust of a draft pick by the Saints. No wonder he fell to the 5th fucking round. Derek Carr, I think, is supposed to come back this week. I don't even know if I like the Saints better if Derek Carr comes back, to be honest with you. I just... the guy has not been great. I don't know if I want to lay 7.5 with a Derek Carr, even. And I don't know, man. After last week with Denver, with the Panthers getting pissed that Denver was running up the score, I'm wondering if that may have lit a fire under them at this point. Although there should have been 9 million fires lit under them prior to this game. Yeah, if Spencer Rattler starts, I'll be a little more confident, but Saints are only 1-4-1 ATS as road favorites in their last 6. I'm not confident in a Derek Carr big favorite, but it's the Panthers. I get it. Like, they're so bad, but so are the Saints. That's why. But no real strong feeling here other than that.
Yeah, definite New Orleans money line game for me because Derek Carr 5-1-1 ATS against the Panthers since he's played in New Orleans. I could see this being a dead cat bounce for the Saints. They're starting to get a little healthier, getting their quarterback, could be revved up. Although they are on the back-to-back road spot, which is important to note. It looks like it's going to be Bryce Young for the Panthers. So that's, keep that one in mind as well. I think on the spread for the contest, I think I'm going to take a chance and go with the Saints. I'm like you, over a touchdown, really don't like the Saints. Curious to see what it's going to be in the contest. I'm going to post that once the show's over. It's not pretty. I just can't bet the Panthers in any capacity. And I have a feeling that the Saints could have a dead cat bounce with Carr coming back. I'm trying to see. Do the Saints do play Atlanta at home next week, but I don't really know if you could say either of these teams have look-ahead spots. Like, they need to win.
Yeah, not unless it's a primetime spot, I would say maybe a look ahead, especially the Thursday night, but I know that's not the case. I don't know, man. Like, this is good. I can't do the 7.5 with the Saints right now, so I think for the contest, I will pick Carolina. 7.5 or more. If it's 7 or under, I might go towards the Saints. But I have a different bet. This is actually going to go as my under of the week, under 43.5 points, because I think Derek Carr starting and whatnot, their offense really hasn't been good since week 2. Like, we've seen Derek Carr in these spots, and I think the Panthers are getting healthier on defense. I'm looking at their injury report. I don't see Josie Jewell on there. I'm trying to see who else. A lot of players are still out, including Adam Thielen, but that's on offense. Jordan Fuller looks like a full participant, but for some reason, doubtful. Yeah, shit, maybe I was wrong on that end. I don't know. It's not like it's not like the Panthers are gonna score much. I just, again, really, it's like a Derek Carr is starting. How much is he really gonna do? How much is he really gonna need to do? And if this is a dead cat bounce, this should be a dead cat bounce for the Saints too, and they might pick off Bryce Young 3 times again. I just don't see another 40-3 epidemic game again. I see this more like a 28-3.
Yeah, maybe this would be the game you look to, considering that Carolina struggles against the run, 32nd in rush yards allowed per game. Teams are running on them more than any other team in football. Maybe you look at an Alvin Kamara bounce back game because he's had a few stinkers.
Ooh.
With Carr coming back, maybe he finds his career yet again.
Let me see here, because that might be the play. Yeah, they're bad too. So I like Kamara over yards. We'll go Kamara touchdown too. So I love that play. I may actually live bet that.
They're also worst in the league. 1.8 rushing touchdowns allowed a game.
God, do I bet the Kamara touchdown ladders?
He did have limited practice, but I don't see anything indicating he's not going to play. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I don't know why you wouldn't. Yeah, Kamara, and it's only 70.5. Yeah, I'm hitting that.
Okay. Just keep an eye on the injury report.
For sure. But yeah, under of the week, Panthers in their last 11, they're 3-8 on the under as home underdogs. So, like I said, I don't know if the defense steps up for both sides here. But 43.5, it seems a lot for this boring ass matchup. Bryce Young at quarterback, I'm not expecting more than 2 touchdowns here. So, got nothing else there. No real other trends otherwise, other than the Saints suck. Derek Carr gets benched. Or not benched, but if Derek Carr gets hurt again and we get Spencer Rattler, this under's a dead hit. Maybe the Panthers team total under.
I'm with you there. Agree with that.
Let me see what real quick. I do just want to see what the team total is for the Panthers, because that looks like over under is 17.5.
For who?
Carolina.
See, I was thinking about New Orleans over getting the dead cat bounce, but I don't know. That seems a little high. They're probably going to be 23.5, 24.
Try 20. Try 25.5.
25.
Yeah, I want no parts of that, so I'm okay. All right, ready to move on?
Yep, let's move on.
Well, I might have to double up here. The Denver Broncos back to a 9.5-point road underdog spot, plus 385. They're coming to our hometown of Baltimore, Maryland, to take on the Ravens. Minus 9.5, minus 500 on the money line for the Ravens. Lamar coming off the loss to Cleveland. Over unders 46.5 points. Denver is getting 51% of the money, and they're getting 59% of the bets on the spread.
Denver?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
It's your team. I mean, I know I'm supposed to go first. It's your team. Do you want to go out of order? Because I could start.
Go ahead and start. I'm actually curious to get I'm wondering if you could sway me one way or the other, because I have a side, but let me see what you got.
My best bet of the week is not on this game.
You asshole.
Not on this game. Not on this game. Oh, this is one that I struggle with, and here's why. Next week, Baltimore at home, Thursday night football look ahead against the Cincinnati Bengals. At the same time, in like manner though, boy, this feels like a pain spot for the Denver Broncos. Like when you look at Denver's schedule, and I'm going to try and pull it up real quick. They've been playing some really bad football teams. Carolina,
New Orleans,
Carolina, Saints, Chargers, who they lost to at home, Raiders, Jets. Really, the only team that's even halfway decent that they've beat are the Buccaneers. This to me feels like a super, super duper step up in class. I have no desire to bet the Broncos. I would actually lean towards the Ravens 9.5 here. I don't think I'm actually going to bet it because of the Thursday look ahead. You know me, I don't like to back the teams with the Thursday look ahead. They play Cincinnati, which is an important division game too. So I'm not really thrilled about the idea of betting the Ravens as big favorites against Denver with a Thursday look ahead spot. But God, I have a feeling that the Ravens might end up winning this game by 30. No offense to Denver. I think Denver's a solid team, but this just feels like the step-up game. This is the step-up game.
You've echoed a lot of sentiments of the Sharps. Unfortunately for them, I'm fading the Sharps. And this is my fade of the week. I'm fading the Ravens at home. Back-to-back best bets for Big Bucks Beta. What is he doing? Okay, this one I actually had a lot of handicapping notes here, so I did take many factors into consideration with this game. Why are the Ravens laying 9.5 right now against one of the top 5 NFL defenses? And against the October Rookie of the Month, Bo Nix? Just wanted to plug that in. Look, the Broncos have lost 3 straight against the Ravens. There was a 10-9 loss back in 2022. I remember because that was when Lamar got hurt and we lost to a Tyler Huntley. And Broncos have actually been horrendous against the AFC North. They're 2-7 straight up, 4-5 ATS since 2019. Oh yeah, and Jim Harbaugh is going up against the rookie quarterback where he's gone 23-7 straight up in his career. The Ravens are also coming off of a loss where they're 5-1 ATS since last season.
Wow,
I'm going against a lot here. The Broncos have covered 3 straight on the road as underdogs, though. The Ravens this year are just so infamous to the point that their failure to close out games is hysterical. And this is going to go one of 2 ways. Either somehow Denver wins this, or they're going to get blown out, but they backdoor cover. Because the Broncos are the slowest first quarter team in the league, I would say. So there's a Ravens first quarter spread. I think it's 5.5. I could see this happening where the Ravens drive in the first quarter, get an early touchdown, and then they stuff the Broncos because they're slow as dirt. So first quarter, love that play. But the Broncos are like one of the craziest second half teams where they really explode. You kind of saw them against Carolina. They don't take their foot off the pedal. They just they throw them out there and they fucking go to score. They don't fucking stop until the game's hit 0. You really want to have a daring bet? You could try Ravens first half, Denver second half on the spread. You can get plus 228 on that right now on FanDuel. This line at the end of the day for me, I think it's just too high to ask the Ravens to cover this, unless you're imagining this is a blowout win because it is a step up in class. And I don't blame you if that's the case. The Ravens are just no-shows in 1 o'clock this year too. Like, there's been 3 games in the 1 o'clock slate for the Ravens at home. They've gone 1-2 straight up. They're 1-1 ATS. In primetime, it's like a lot different. Like, you remember the 1 o'clock games, they lost to the Raiders. They just lost to Cleveland. And I think the last home game was, oh God, why did I forget it? But there was another one that was like really bad, where I think they won, but I don't know if they got the cover. I'm going to check here. Oh, it was the Commanders. So yeah, and depending on what line you got that game at, you could have lost the cover there too. So you could be 0-3 with the Ravens at 1 o'clock. So I just think like a timing wise, like at a 1 o'clock game, Lamar has just struggled. Denver again flying over, that could come into play. But again, do you want to back this Ravens pass defense, who's like one of the worst in the leagues? They've allowed 291 passing yards on average to opposing teams. And finally, that Thursday Night Football look ahead. Like, I just think there's, like, as much as you could give shit for the Broncos for, there really is equally amount for the Ravens. and I'm going to go with the points. I'm not saying Denver will win. I wouldn't be that crazy. Depending on how our contest picks go, I may switch it up and do it just for the sake of our Caser bet, but nothing. But like in a real life contest in the world with money on the line, Ravens money line all day. Like, I'm no fool. I don't think the Denver Broncos will win. But there's a realistic world they could. You know, Sean Payton's no rookie.
And Lamar Jackson a little banged up as well. Although you always got to be careful with Lamar Jackson because sometimes he misses practice and he's banged up and then he turns out to be perfectly fine.
For sure.
Yeah, I wonder if Denver is going to be able to take advantage of the bad pass because I mean you look at Denver passing wise and I mean 185.9 yards a game, that puts them at 27th. 5.9 yards a pass, 28th in the league. That those aren't great stats either. So I'm curious. I don't think Denver is going to be able to run the ball. Denver's running, they're only an average rush team, and we know both.
Yeah, I think this is a crazy Bo Nix passing yards game. I got Bo Nix 2 touchdowns at plus money. Bo Nix over under for the passing yards right now. It's only 215.5. That's like one of the lowest a quarterback has seen. I think that's lower than Jameis. That's lower than Baker. That was lower than pretty sure that was lower than Gardner Minshew too. And Bo Nix hasn't exactly been like that terrible as a rookie quarterback. He really just doesn't have a great receiving core. I think if Denver just builds on it, like they'll be a real threatening team later down the line.
And I think the game script too, you would expect like as a 9.5 point underdog. If you just go by the line, you would think the game script would be Denver's going to maybe play from behind, have to throw the ball. Maybe it's going to be a few late garbage scores. I mean, either way, however you look at it, I think your handicap, he gets over. I think my handicap, he could still get over. Unless it's a complete disaster and he gets benched by midway through the third quarter. But I don't know. I feel like Sean Payton would still keep him out there. I don't know. I like that angle, the Bo Nix passing. Like that.
You could play the passing attempts too if you really want to, but that line's set at like 30 something right now, so I didn't really see a good advantage there. But over 46.5 total for me. Ravens defense is trash. I think the Broncos are really going to get tested here on defense. Don't know if they're going to be able to stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers. Something's going to give. I think Zay Flowers does get shut down. This seems like a big Mark Andrews game, if anything. So I would just, with Pat Surtain too back in the rankings and the reins of things, Denver's defense you have to take seriously, but I think there's just too many weapons.
Yeah, no, I think they set a good line.
There we go. All right, we're 3 games in. I've already given out 3 of my best bets. Moving on, we are going to Cincinnati, where they are laying 7.5 at home as a minus 360 home favorite against Gardner Minshew and the Las Vegas Raiders. They're a plus 290 road dog. Over-unders 45.5. Cincy getting 60% of the bets, 70% of the money on FanDuel right now. This is not a good line to me. I don't know about you, but this seems so fucking fishy. What am I missing?
I think people just continue to back the Bengals as, they continue to back the Bengals believing that they are the team that they were last year. And they haven't realized that Cincinnati is not very good. I don't think they realize that this team is just not great. I have one play in this game. There's only really one way I can look in this particular contest. And I hate to do it because I was high on them to start the year, and I've kind of gone against them. But I have no choice. It's got to be the Las Vegas Raiders catching the points. I just don't think this Cincinnati football team is that good. I don't think they're that good. I don't know what it is. They should be better. But you look at it, strangely enough, the strength of the Vegas defense is the pass. Cincinnati struggled running the ball. And I think the Raiders, again, the question with the Raiders is always, are they going to go and turn the ball over 50 times? I think if the Raiders could keep hold of the football, they can keep it close. And remember the Thursday look ahead. Cincinnati playing in Baltimore, Thursday night football, a game where they basically got they kind of gave it up at the end, the game that they were winning. I think that's a big look ahead spot for Cincinnati. To me, this is a pretty good spot. I'm tempted. I already made Houston my dog of the week, so I guess I can't really make the Raiders my dog of the week.
I thought you said you had two of them, though.
Play the Raiders. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I feel like there's a couple other dogs later in the card that I might want to give that honor to. So for now, I'm just going to play the Raiders. I'm down on the Raiders a lot since the beginning of the year, but I think this is a good spot for them.
All right. So, yeah, look, if anybody out there in the whole world, in the gambling realm, if you think betting on the Vegas Raiders on the money line is a great way to be profitable as a bettor, you are a jackass that doesn't watch football. But if you think that means betting on the Bengals at 8.5, at 7.5 right now, against fucking anybody in the NFL, including the Carolina Panthers, you are also a jackass that knows nothing about football, and you shouldn't be betting. The Bengals team totals right now, it sits at 26.5 right now on FanDuel. Do with that what you will. The Raiders are at 18.5. The Bengals defense, they allow 25.4 points per game on average. At home, they allow 38.7 points per game to opponents. To include the commies in week 1, the Ravens and the Eagles. Again, do with what you will with this information. Zach Moss and T. Higgins is also doubtful for this game. The Bengals have not won at home all year. I'm with you. You got to take the Raiders plus the points. They've covered their 4 of the last 6 against the AFC as road underdogs. And like I said, the Bengals have no business laying this amount of points against anyone. And the Thursday night football look ahead, like you mentioned. Yeah, like I said, do with all that information what you will. Bet at your own risk. Call 1-800-GAMBLER if you need help.
I'm doing it. Dog of the week number 2, Vegas Raiders, plus 7.5. Let's do it. Let's
go. Are you doing the money line or is it the points?
I can't go money line. I mean, this looks like a Raiders lose by 3 sort of game. But I got a good feeling about them on the spread. You know me. I love my Thursday. You know my Thursday look ahead. I love that. So, yeah, let's go with the Raiders.
Oh, yeah, and I have the numbers for the people, too.
It hurts so bad because it's like I've already lost one dog of the week, and I just feel like it's like a pity dog.
It is, but yeah, by the way, teams that are looking ahead to Thursday night football games, 8-8 straight up, but they're only 5-10-1 ATS. So, not necessarily means they're going to win or lose. It's a coin toss, but they're definitely not. They definitely tend not to cover. So, Raiders plus 7.5. Mansmann's dog of the week. We got the over/under total here at what did I say? 45.5. Seems like a dead over game to me, but
yeah, it feels like it could be over. Especially Cincinnati's defense isn't great. I mean, I guess the one concern you have are the Bengals, a little bit banged up on the offensive side, a couple guys who may not play. But I don't know. This feels like one of those 27-23 type games, something in that realm. So I think it's going to get to the over.
I think 24-23 seems appropriate. Where it's like 23-21.
The Bengals are still, it's like the Jets, which is, again, I'm not trying to justify that Thursday pick anymore, but another team that, like, I don't understand. Cincinnati's still getting bet like they're the third best team in the AFC, and I don't understand it. They're not good.
I don't either. Yeah, no, Raiders over a touchdown. I think you have to take it. I'm with you there. All right, moving on to the next 1 o'clock game. Cleveland Browns with Jameis Winston down to a 1.5 point home underdog. They're plus 102 on the money line. They are hosting the LA Chargers, and Justin Beach Blonde Bitch Hair Herbert minus 120 for the Chargers. Over-under is 42.5. Cleveland now getting 52% of the bets, and they're getting 58% of the money. Ready? Here's my genius handicap.
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess the Chargers. I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't think Jameis as a public dog seems like a popular side. It's a popular side. I don't know if it's a smart side necessarily to take. I can make the argument that if Franklin from the Ravens catches that ball and intercepts it, the Browns lose last week, and it's a whole different narrative we're going into. I like the story of Jameis. I think he could be a starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns right now, going into next year. I don't think he's going to take him to the promised land. I don't think he could beat a Jim Harbaugh with the way he coaches his team. The Browns defense really still isn't all that great. Why is the public riding the Jameis Winston train right now? It's like his play wasn't all that spectacular in my opinion. It just was better than Deshaun the misogynist. Like, is that it? Like, he's just better than Deshaun, therefore we have to bet on it now? Like, I just think it's a bad number. Feels like the Chargers should be laying a little bit more, like maybe 2.5. Just seems weird. I don't want to follow the public on this one. I don't know if it's because it's the Browns. I don't know if it's because it's Jameis, and this could be a 3-interception game. But the Chargers are healthy. Last I checked, when the Chargers are healthy, they're a threat to the league, and I'm getting them at like a point, 2 points really, but like. Just seems I don't know if I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, this seems too easy for the Chargers, or wow, people are really on Cleveland. That's fucking stupid. I don't know. What are you making of this? Like,
yeah, I'm trying to see who the hell do. Oh, okay, all right. I for some reason I was concerned. I thought the Chargers had a look ahead spot, but that's not the case. So I'm gonna do it. I'm pulling the trigger. Fade of the week. LA Chargers. I mean, this is such a Barney play feel where, oh, the Cleveland Browns, they're back, they're great. Everyone, they're taking all the money. And you look at it, let's be honest, the Ravens catch a couple of those interceptions. And this was on one of my Sharp podcasts, and the handicap was great. Think about it this way, folks. More Ravens catch those interceptions, the Browns lose. This is Chargers -3. Because the Ravens didn't catch interceptions, it's now 1.5. The Browns just won their Super Bowl. The Chargers are a well-coached team. Like you said, the stats are pretty much, both teams are the same. I think this is Los Angeles Chargers. I think they're going to find a way to win the game. And to me, I think this is an under game. This is the Jameis Winston back to earth. Remember who you are. Again, better than Deshaun Watson. But this Chargers team, not great, but I think they're a legitimate team. I think they're better than Cleveland. I think Cleveland has, is coming off their game of the year Super Bowl win. This to me feels like a letdown spot for Cleveland. Great spot for the Chargers. That's who I'm going with.
all right, yeah, and I got nothing else to argue with it there. I also have the under in this game, under 42.5.
Under, yeah.
Well, we know the Jim Harbaugh experience. It's you run the ball first, run it 10 times, have Herbert throw only when necessary. It's going to be very boring. You don't utilize the wide receivers, but you drain clock. You don't let your opponents on the field. And when Jameis is on the field, you have a great defense to back you up. And like you said, I think this is a Jameis Winston regression game. I think he's going to get 3 picks. Honestly, I'd say he gets 3 picks in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. But no other sides. Ooh.
Projected rain in the forecast.
Ooh, dead under game for that one.
Rain, yeah. I think gotta hit the under for this one, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on. Another 1 o'clock divisional game. It is the Miami Dolphins and the return of Tua Tagovailoa going on the road as 5.5-point road dogs, plus 210 on the money line to Buffalo Bills, minus 5.5, minus 255 on the money line. Over under is now set at 49.5. The Bills are a public favorite, 83% of the money, 74% of the bets. Mansmann, all the sharps I've listened to have been on this Bills team. This is your favorite team. I give you the honors. What's going to happen in this game?
Yeah, I'm a little confused. I don't know why this line is going down the way it is. Like, it was 6 earlier in the week. Now it's down. I'm seeing 5.5. I don't really understand it. The Dolphins are not looking good, to say the least. They lost the killer game last week at home to Miami. Oh, what was that? Play that one more time.
Really frosty right now, by the way.
They're ice cold. They are.
Yeah, they're not frosty in a good way. Miami doesn't have the same rushing attack that they have earlier in the year. I don't know. To me, Josh Allen, 12-2 against the Miami Dolphins all time. They're in Buffalo. This to me is a lock. Do I want to do it? Let's be. Oh, I have one. No, I have one game more. I have a game I like a little better. This almost was my best bet. This is my number 2 bet. I love the Bills here. This line should not be going down. We've seen this story before. They killed Miami on a short week in Miami. They're
as a dog.
Buffalo. Yeah, I mean, they're in Buffalo now. This looks like a Buffalo Bills win all the way.
Yeah, this also is my number 2 best bet of the week. I did not make it my favorite of the week. There's one other game I do like more as well. Let's see if we pair up on that. But this was also my number 2. Simple handicap history says Josh Allen is, you said 12-2 against the Dolphins?
Yeah, I might not have the most updated stats. Did I get that wrong?
That sounds right. It's better than what I got. 7-6-1 ATS. He's 7-0 straight up at home against the Dolphins. He's 3-3-1 ATS, but you're getting the Bills under a touchdown, and the only ATS losses he had were 7 and higher. Tua is 0-6 ATS just in his last 6 games as a starting quarterback. He's 2-5 straight up in his last 7 road starts. Oh, and just this year, the Dolphins are 1-6 ATS alone. What is not to love about this spot for the Bills? You just came off a big win against Seattle, where you really didn't have to put in the most effort. I mean, there's the East Coast to West Coast back to East Coast thing, but like, I mean, I don't think that's going to be a concern here. I mean, they fucking mollywop the Seahawks, who are a mediocre mid-level team. They're probably going to mollywop and beat down a fucking Dolphins team to ruin their season, because that will make the Bills happy. Nothing would make Josh Allen happier than just ruining Tua Tagovailoa's life once again. Not praying for a concussion, but, you know, like, nothing makes the Bills happier than seeing Dolphins cry. So, yeah, fuck the Dolphins here. I'm going with the Bills. This is smash spot for the Bills. I already hit it earlier. Might wait to see if this goes down to 5. I might hit it again. I'm not going to hit it at the 5.5. Yeah, not going to hit it at the 5.5 just yet, because the odds on it right now are -120. I got the -6 at like minus 105. So don't know if I want to eat the chalk on a half a point per se, but God, I love the spot. I'd be tempted. Over under take though is going to be interesting. I have under 49.5 right now. God, I don't know if the Dolphins are going to be in sync for this game, and I know the Bills could put up 40 alone. I don't know if they're going to need to do that though. Like, this to me just screams like 35-10. And it's like, or 36-10, and it's like, wow, if we just get a field goal, they'll be half a point away, and then it just won't happen. Like, just seems like it's a little smidge too high, but
Yeah, I think the big problem for the Dolphins is, and I kind of agree with your assessment, because the question is going to be for the over whether Miami could put up any points. But the big problem with Miami, the lack of pressure. 29th in the league in sack percentage against second in the league for the Bills. Like, you're not going to win if you can't get pressure on Josh Allen. And if they're just going to let him sit back there and pick apart this defense, Miami's really going to have no chance. The Buffalo Bills are going to put up a ton of points. Yeah, I would, if you want to play an over, I think you play an over to the Bills, because I think this looks like a Bills 30 spot. Like, this is a Bills 30 burger. Arizona put up 28 last week in Miami. Bills are playing in Buffalo. We know what Josh Allen's like at home. We know, oh, by the way, the last time they played, the Dolphins played the Bills at home, 2023, week 4, 48-20 Buffalo.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. You look at some of the Bills scores. Really, there was one year, the down year, when they beat the Dolphins in the wild card. But you look besides that, they've laid some wood to Miami. And think of it this way: if the Bills win, they've basically clinched the division already, because they're going to be 4.5 games ahead of the Jets, who already have 2 division losses. And the Bills basically have 3 division games left. So they're going to clinch the division if they win.
That is interesting. I think this is going to be a 2-unit play. I'm going to trust you on this one. Over-under set at 28.5.
Oh. The hook could be the killer.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm doing it. This is going to be a 2-unit play.
I feel like they can put up a 30 spot. They put up a 30 spot against Seattle. And no offense, again, Miami, I think you look at it, they've played some shit teams. Look at what they did last week against Arizona. I think that's more in tune with what Miami's defense really is. I don't think they're that good.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the way I double down on this. Maybe not the spread, but I'm going to play the team total. Yeah, that seems smart. Instead of doubling up on the spread,
they gave up 31 points to the Titans. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this Dolphins defense isn't good. Yeah. Bills over 28.5. I'm locking. That's a 2-unit play. I'm locking that in right now. Live bet. I'm doing it. We're doing it live.
There we go.
Fuck it. Oh yeah, I gotta update. Yeah, doing a lot of player props this week. Doing a lot of live bets as we go through this show. So we're gonna see how much money I lose come week 10.
One sharp one I heard, the Devon Achane over receiving yards. Bills have a tendency. So yeah, I would smash that spot. Smash.
Yeah, let me see what the line is right now, if I can pull that up. Devon Achane over, was it receiving?
Yeah, over receiving, because the Bills let up a lot of passes out of the backfield.
Would you do Devon Achane 5 catches, or would you do Devon Achane over 35.5 receiving yards?
God, you can make a case for both. I think he's going to have like 5 catches for 50 yards at least. The Bills, they can't stop screens. So,
all right, I'm going to do a small weight.
What's the longest reception?
Okay. Well, before I do that, Devon Achane, 5 receptions, plus 110 right now on Fanatics. So I'm going to do a small half-unit wager there. I'm going to play that. And then you said longest reception?
Yeah, what's the longest reception?
For Devon Achane, 15.5.
Oh, it's a little higher than I wanted.
Yeah, agreed. All right, moving on. We got to keep this rolling. We're at the hour mark. We are going to Atlanta, where they're now laying an even 3 at home. Minus 178 money line. They're hosting the Dallas Cowgirls. Plus 150 road dog, plus 3 for Dak Prescott and company. Over under is 51.5. Atlanta's getting 58% of the money and the bets right now. Dallas is 3-4 straight up. Atlanta 5-3. This seems like a weird spot for me. What did I have for this game? Oh yeah, that's right. Losing teams coming off of Sunday Night Football. I gave this out last episode during our recap. Losing teams off Sunday Night Football have gone 1-6 ATS and 2-5 straight up this season. The Cowboys actually might have enough on the pass offense to keep up with this Falcons team, whose secondary has been burned more times than the witches in Salem. But if you look at power rankings, if you look at the trends, my position is I'm taking Atlanta here at 3. I wouldn't take them any higher than 3, so if it gets to 3.5 on the contest, I'd say maybe look towards Dallas. But, yeah, look, despite the fact that the Atlanta's 1-4 ATS at home this season, they haven't defeated anyone outside of their division at home since December of last year. And the Cowboys in general are a better road team. They are 3-1 straight up. They're just 2-5 ATS, though. All year against everyone. Dallas is literally another loss and a failed cover away from being on auto fade. They have no Micah Parsons. They don't have Deron Bland. They don't have Trevon Diggs. Atlanta, we know who they are. The question is, does Atlanta suck? Like, is this a game Kirk Cousins just lays down? Does he get sacked 5 times? But Dallas really hasn't just been able to get pressure on anybody. I see this as a Kirk Cousins blowout. I just don't see it any other way right now. I think if Dallas was a little bit healthier on defense, I'd be very tempted to take Atlanta in this spot. I'd be tempted to take them here, but this just seems like another line. I don't think the books are really counting towards how bad this Dallas team really is. Or they're just lowering the number because they know Dallas fans are just going to keep betting it. And they're going to be like, yeah, dipshit, here, give me all your fucking money, and we'll set the line. Because we know you'll take it, but really it's like a bad number. And again, it's weird because I say at 3.5 take Dallas. I wonder if that hook is going to come into play. This just seems like a 2017, 23-20, 24-21 type of game. And like I said, I don't know if it's going to be that or if it's going to be a Kirko like Thuggins 28-10. 31-13 type of blowout win where like Atlanta's offense just explodes against a fucking phony Dallas defense and Dak Prescott just has to play from behind and he struggles until like the third quarter. So yeah, this is a game I live bet.
By the way, I'm pretty sure the replacement corner, the rookie corner who was playing in place of Diggs who was hurt, I think he's out too now. I think Dallas has more
Jesus.
injury secondary. This is my best bet of the week. Atlanta.
Get out of here.
3. Listen to this. So you've already done a great job of why Atlanta is a good pick. Let me tell you about the spot plays, though. Back-to-back road spot in Atlanta. Oh, and by the way, guess who Dallas plays next week?
They play
at home against the Eagles. Right. So not only are you the losing team coming off a Sunday, which you talked about already, not only are you in a back-to-back road spot, you now also have a look-ahead spot against the Philadelphia Eagles, which is probably going to be a game to salvage your season. This, to me, is the perfect storm of badness. You gave the great stats about Dallas's defense. In terms of their offense, again, Cowboys are one-dimensional. They can't run the football. They're going to have to throw. Jesse Bates might have an interception. He probably will. It's Dak Prescott.
You know what?
I was on Dallas this week. Give me the Falcons -3, -120.
How about a blast from the past on this one? I got to see if I can pull it up on Fanatics, but guess who's returning at cornerback for the Atlanta Falcons this week? If he wasn't there last week, I could be wrong. Justin Simmons.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. The Justin Simmons interception.
At plus 390.
Oh, Jesus. You know Dak's good for – maybe, you know what? That's going to be the play, Dak Prescott interception. I'm going to play that.
Let me see what the line is.
What the odds are. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
All right, and then I'll move on to the next game, if anything. Well, it's -145 over one pick. God, that could be that might be a double play. God, I don't know if I'm going to do that. It's a 1 o'clock game. Yeah, I think I'm going to wait to play that. But yeah, Justin Simmons plus 390 on there. And then real quick, I'll give an over-under play. I know Money Mansman's running to the bathroom, but I have a under 51.5 here. And I'm going to try and look up some trends here, but really what it comes down to for me is Dallas being so one-dimensional. Atlanta is just so inconsistent at home that I'm just not sure what their point totals are going to be. God, this is how we do this shit, folks. So right now I'm going to look up the Atlanta Falcons schedule. I'm going to see how they've done at home, especially recently. Looks like we're going to do some math here. So we do a simple calculator. 14 points against the Seahawks. They had 36 against the Bucks. Let's see here. What else do they have? If the computer wants to load. They had 17 against the Chiefs. They had 26 against the Saints. That was preseason. Oh, yeah, 10 against the Steelers. So that's 5 games. So they're averaging about 20 points, and that makes about much sense. It's pretty inconsistent. The Falcons, 31 points against the Bucks, but 14 at home against Seattle. The week prior to that, 38 against Panthers, 36 against the Bucks once again, 26 against the Saints. So they've kind of had 4 divisional games in the last 5. So I'm wondering if this will be a little bit different. They barely beat the Eagles the last time, but they did win as an underdog week 2. I believe that was Monday night. So, Money Mansmann, real quick, interesting play, and it's kind of correlated, but I like the Falcons to win. Fanatics right now, you can get under 52, and I think it's 51.5 on FanDuel. I like the under in this spot because Atlanta's offense is inconsistent at home. Besides the division opponents, they really haven't scored too much against teams at home. I think they had 20, it was 22 against the Philadelphia Eagles. They had 10 or 17 against the fucking Seahawks. 14, excuse me. They had 14 against the Seahawks, but the divisional opponents, they hosted the Saints 26. They hosted the Bucks 36. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Yeah, 4 of the last 5 games they played division opponents. But yeah, Dallas is too one-dimensional. Atlanta's too inconsistent. So I have an underplay this year. This is going to be a battle of the defenses here, I think. Kirko might struggle for whatever reason. We'll see. Kirko might shoot himself in the foot.
This will be Dallas's first good defensive game if they play well.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the under or the over for 51.5, or is that good?
I have a feeling the question's going to be what Dallas does, because I could see a lot of turnovers in this game.
Gotcha. All right, next up, it's the last 1 o'clock game. It's the Washington Commanders, a.k.a. the Commies, a.k.a. the football team, a.k.a. the Redskins. They are traveling to the New Jersey Giants, and Daniel Dime Ball can't throw a touchdown at MetLife Jones. DJ is plus 166 with the Giants at home, plus 3.5 points. The Commanders, a.k.a. the Commies, a.k.a. the football team, a.k.a. the Redskins, minus 198. Road favorite, minus 3.5. Over-under is 44.5 points.
Washington Redskins, go f*** yourself.
Money Mansmann, what's your pick?
Yeah, this is a danger because I feel like this is Barney, but I don't think you really have a choice. I know the trends. The Giants have been great against Washington. Daniel Jones, if there's one team he plays well against, it's Washington. But the Giants have been terrible at home. Daniel Jones hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in a million years. There's only one way to look at this game, and that's towards Washington. Now, I normally like to go against the team after one of those miracle wins. But having said that, Washington really should have won the game anyway. And I don't know, like this Giants team, they're done. They have no home field. Their quarterback sucks. I think Tyrone Tracy's going to play, which may give the Giants a little hope. But I don't know. Like the Washington won the first game, scoring 7 field goals. And this Washington team feels light years better than the team that played the Giants last time. I don't know.
Don't forget the Giants.
One way to look, and
they said the Giants only lost because they didn't have a kicker. I mean, remember that shit? Remember when it was like, wait, you knew the kicker was injured and you let him go out anyways, and then you didn't have a kicker the whole game, and that's why you lost because you couldn't kick extra points and field goals. But now they're gonna cover 3.5 at home. A spot where they can't even get a touchdown.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Look, I normally would. Sorry, yeah. Are you sorry, buddy? Are you done?
No, I am done. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Look, normally I would handicap both sides of this game. I normally would point out how Daniel Jones is in the spot. I normally would mention how he's never lost at home against Washington. I'd mentioned the Giants are 4-2 ATS in their last 6 against division opponents. This isn't a normal Giants team, though. This is a particularly bad Giants team where they've lost 3 straight. They failed to cover 3 straight. That means they're on my auto fade list. I have to fade them because I will mention that Daniel Jones is 1-2-1 straight up in his last 4. I will mention he has not thrown a touchdown at MetLife since 2023, January of 2023 to be specific.
Holy shit.
In Washington, they've won 5 of their last 6, even on the fluky Hail Mary catch. Depending on the number you got against Baltimore, you could say they've covered 7 straight. And team rankings has them. And yeah, team rankings, 6-1-1 ATS. You want to bet against a 6-1-1 ATS team with the New York Giants. You want to do it with Kansas City. You want to do it with Denver. You want to do it with Buffalo. You want to do it with fucking Pittsburgh. That's fine. But a 6-1-1 ATS team, which means in 8 games, 6 of those games you would have hit and been profitable. You want to fade that at 3.5 with a Giants team who this year is 3-5 and not a lot of straight wins. It does baffle me. It's a Barney move because this is the spot Daniel Jones normally would step up in. But why do you think he's going to step up? He's had all year to step up. He had Monday Night Football against the Steelers to step up with a 2-minute drill to get the game-winning touchdown. He threw a pick. He had a lot of moments against the Cowboys where he could have stepped up and won that. He didn't do it. He had a lot of moments this fucking year. He could have stepped up against anybody. He didn't do it. Daniel Jones is not the guy. He is not going to lead the New York Giants to any Super Bowls, let alone any more fucking playoff appearances. They got rid of the guy that was going to do that for him. His name was Saquon Barkley, and then he ran 3 touchdowns on him when they played Philly. So, yeah, why are we betting the Giants here, guys? Like, why are there sharps trying to advertise, let's fade the Commanders here. This is a bad spot. Well, when is this a good spot for the Giants? Again, dumb mindset. Let's fade the Commanders. Okay, you want to fade the Commanders? Who are we betting on? Daniel Jones at home. You're a donkey. I don't want to fucking hear it. I will chug half a bottle of Cinnerator if the Giants win. That's all I'm going to say. It's so dumb. It is so dumb.
Cinnerator. Wow.
No, yeah. Okay, maybe not half a bottle, but you get my point. Like, this is... Like, I just feel like any Giants logic is a donko move. Okay. Over under 43 and a half. Under 43 and a half. That's all I got to say. No good reason. Just under 43 and a half. Daniel Jones can't score a fucking touchdown at home. Why are we going to bet the over? Like, do we need to?
I think you got to look. This is you team total over. Like, I wonder if Washington scores like 30 in this game. I think the Giants are very close to quitting. And this could be – I have a feeling that Daniel Jones – I say it every week. I have a feeling this could be the week where Daniel Jones gets pulled. Because this Washington seems just a lot better.
Fair enough. God, you have to wonder. So maybe Daniel Jones under props. That might be the move. We'll see. Oh, yeah, division road favorites. This is the second one. We have two more left to go. Division road favorites have gone a whopping 10-6-1 ATS, 14-3 straight up this year. So Washington money line all day, every day. Moving on, we're into the 4 o'clock slate. Finally, shit, I don't know what the fuck to make of this game. The Chicago Bears are catching a 1.5. They're plus 106 on the money line. They're traveling to Arizona, who's coming off that backdoor win against the Miami Dolphins. They're laying a 1.5 at home. They're a home favorite, minus 124. Over-under is 44.5. But Chicago's getting 54% of the bets and 60% of the money. Yikes. Okay, Mansmann. Are you ready for this sharp handicap? The Bears, I guess.
Let's hear it.
The Bears, I guess. You can look at the stats. You can see how bad Arizona really is at home. 3-8 ATS, 4-7 straight up as home favorites since 2021. The Bears actually have won and covered 4 straight against the NFC West. And the Cardinals, on the other hand, are 2-7 straight up, 1-8 ATS against the NFC North. My serious concern regarding this is that this could be donkey pick of the year, taking the Bears in this spot. I think the Bears are a significantly worse team on the road compared to when they're at home, because considering they only average 14 points a game on the road, and considering the way they played in their last couple road games, I don't know if that's necessarily enough to beat this fucking Cardinals team. Especially the way they played against the Commanders, where they had to get a late 2-minute drill, last-minute touchdown with a fucking flag with the stripes helping them out. And the Cardinals are unpredictable, too. They've been a scrappy team with this new head coach. There's just spots where, like, you kind of wonder, are they just going to cover, maybe not win? But now they're getting to a point where it's like, they're not just covering as dogs, they're winning. And now it's like, it's only a 1.5. My heart says take Arizona, but like I look at the trends and this just is like telling me this is an Arizona letdown spot. So don't know if it's a donkey move to trust the trends over like what I think is going to happen for once, but I don't want every game I pick to be like, well, I just think this, so I'm just going to go with this. Like, this is the one where I'm like, you know what? The money's on the Bears. It's not by too much. The trends and stats say to take the Bears here. Have a little bit of faith, and if it's wrong, well, then you know for the future. So, and I've been looking to fade Kyler Murray for a little bit, so I picked him for the last few weeks. I think now's the time.
Okay, so I hate Arizona because every time I bet on them they lose. Every time I bet against them they win. What's it going to be this week? Well, I'm going to steal a handicap from. It might have been. I forgot it. This might have been SGPN. This might have been the Dream Podcast. I don't remember. I'm going to give both of these teams schedules, and you're going to see who I'm going to bet on.
Yeah,
Listen to the
I've heard this.
schedule. Win against Tennessee.
Yep.
Loss at Houston. Loss at Indianapolis.
Both of which are looking bad.
Win against the Panthers. Win against the Jaguars. Loss at Washington. Back-to-back road spot at Washington and now at Arizona. Listen to the Cardinals schedule.
Week 1, Bills.
Bills. Week 1.
Rams.
Home against the Rams. Depleted Rams. Okay. Loss at home against the Lions. Now, they did get skewered by the Commanders, which take note of that. Win at San Francisco. Loss at Green Bay. Win against the Chargers at home. Win against the Dolphins on the road. I think Arizona has clearly had the more difficult schedule. I think back-to-back road spot for the Bears. I think this line makes sense. I'm going to bet on Arizona, which means Chicago will win. Because otherwise, teams are pretty even. I think the Bears' defense is a little better. I think Arizona's offense is a little better. Question will be whether Arizona can run the ball. But I'll lean Arizona at home. Chicago coming off the back-to-back road spot.
My note of that is I think James Conner is going to struggle in this matchup against the Bears' rush defense, which means Kyler's going to have to throw. And when Kyler's had to force throw, that's when he makes mistakes. So Bears, a little more confident in the Bears.
The Bears' rush defense isn't that great. The Bears' rush defense is middle of the pack.
It's middle of the pack, but James Conner's not great. I mean, so is James Conner.
Arizona rush yards, 5.2 yards a rush. That's third in the league. 141.8 rush yards a game. That's seventh in the league.
Really? I never would have guessed that based on the way they played. But
the passing, 196.8 a game, 22nd in the league. Pass offense. So they're better rushing.
Fair enough. Makes sense, though, when Arizona can run the ball. Could be. All right. Over under. I got under 44.5 here. Again, Caleb Williams might struggle in this spot, but I think Kyler will too. Like this should be like a great performance between two young quarterbacks, but I have a feeling that we're gonna see the worst of both these guys.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this. I feel like this is an over game just because I feel like it could be close. I feel like both teams might score, and sometimes in those games I like the over, but I don't know. This is a tough one. I don't have a play one way or another on that.
All right, moving on. We got our first non-conference matchup. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars catching 7.5 on the road, plus 295. They are traveling to the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Minus 7.5, minus 370. Over-under is 45.5. Eagles are getting the most public action on the week. 75% of the bets on Philly. 87% of the money on Eagles covering over a touchdown. Money Mansmann. Eagles are coming off a big win against the Bengals. Jags are the Jags. They lost to Green Bay, but they did cover the 3.5. What's to make of this spot? Because I don't know why. I had a hard time with this one, and I feel like I shouldn't have.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Jags aren't good. The real question is, and this is the tough one, I think the Eagles find a way to win the game. I think they're the better team. I think, all in all, their offense is better than the Jags' defense. And I think the Eagles' defense is good enough to contain the Jags. So I do think the Eagles are going to win. The real question's the 7.5. And I was really looking for a reason to play the Jags because it just jumped out at me like, Eagles have a look-ahead spot. They go on the road to Dallas next week. Then actually they play Washington on Thursday night. So that's an interesting, double sort of look-ahead, couple division games coming up. This could be a little bit of a flat spot for them. But I'm not going to overthink it. I just wonder if Jacksonville on the road, their season's over. They're 0-4 on the road this year. They haven't been a good road team. The Eagles are clearly better. Like, is this just another Tennessee game where you're trying to be cute, finding a way to be contrarian? I don't know. Like, to me, I think the Eagles win this game. I think I'm probably looking at them money line, to be honest with you, just because I think that's pretty safe. I don't see the Eagles losing this game. I don't think Jacksonville has enough. But with the 7.5, I think for the contest, I'm playing the Eagles, but I don't know if I'm betting this at 7.5. It's my play for this one.
If I told you that the Jags are 5-12 ATS against the NFC since 2021, if I told you they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1-7, I believe, in the last 8 in non-conference road games. Does it make you feel any better?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence and this Jaguars team, they have failed to cover, looks like 3 of their last 5. They've only won and covered once on the road, it looks like, in that span. I'm trying to see if there's a loss in the cover. Because that was kind of where I was leaning, but no. They beat the Panthers in 2023. They beat the Saints. They beat the Falcons. That was it. They beat the NFC South, which really isn't that impressive.
I was going to say a few years ago, wasn't it the stat where like Jacksonville was like 1-20 against the NFC? And they had a one
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence against the NFC is like a dead ball spot. I'm with the Eagles all the way here. Not going best bet, but this was number 3 for me. I just thought this was a good spot for Philly before they have to go on the road to Dallas. The Jags are getting, I think they're getting just as equal step in class to Green Bay. Oddly enough, though, I think with Sirianni, I think it's a game script kind of thing where I just think Sirianni is going to do like what he did against the Bengals. I would honestly consider playing Jags first half, but then Eagles to win or Eagles to cover. See what those odds are, because like Sirianni and this Eagles team has been slow starters this year. So I could see this looking close in the first half, and maybe not even looking close. Like Jags don't do nothing, but neither does Jalen Hurts. And then I could just see in the second half, they put their foot on the pedal and they fucking blow them out again, just like they did to the Bengals. And I think I gave the stat out too last week with the Eagles against AFC teams, where I think that's done them really well. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can pull that up real quick. Oh, Eagles are now 11-1 straight up against the AFC since 2022. They are now 8-4 ATS. Yeah, no, I'm going with the Eagles here. Like, this is a no-brainer. This is definitely a contest play, and I think a lot of... Honestly, Eagles, good survivor pick if you haven't used them yet this year. This is a great spot for them.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a logical pick of the Eagles. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? And this is a great teaser leg, too. They're in 2 of my teasers right now. But, yeah, one more live bet before we get this going. I think I'm going to live bet this 7.5. I have a feeling it's going to go up. Let me throw a 10. We'll throw a 10-piece and a Happy Meal on that. All right. I got nothing on the over-under play. No real strong play. But Philly's at home. I know Philly at home is a dead under team, so I did go under here. Don't know if I like the number, though. So maybe leaning over 45.5.
I feel like this could be the Jalen Hurts big game because the Jags pass defense is just freaking atrocious.
Could be.
So, yeah, that'd be where I'd be. I'd look at that prop, the Jalen Hurts over, or maybe the A.J. Brown over, because I don't know if Jags have anyone in the secondary that could shine his shoes this week.
Fair enough. A.J. Brown touchdown plus 120. Could be a fun play. All right. Last up on the 4 o'clock slate. Or sorry, we have 2 more games. Excuse me. We got a NFC West rivalry matchup. It's the LA Rams now laying a 1.5 minus 122, traveling to the Seattle Seahawks, who are now catching a 1.5. They opened up as favorites though. Over under is 47.5. LA is the second most popular betting team on the week. 75% of the money on the spread, 70% of the bets.
Oh, that's good.
That is a bit scary. Is it my turn? I think your turn. I think it's mine. I'll just go. This is simple. The Rams own Seattle. The Rams are in a must-win situation to put themselves back in the running for the NFC West. Because right now they are last place at 3-4, but if they win, they are tied neck and neck with the rest of the league. Or not the rest of the league, the rest of the division. I know it's probably strange that the Rams line flipped to them as a favorite, but honestly, the Rams should have been a 2-point favorite at open anyways. Considering Puka Nacua came back, considering Cooper Kupp is healthy. Don't know if this is a homer home run donkey of the year. I'm just going to call it my favorite of the week, my best bet. Give me the LA Rams minus 1.5 against this phony fucking Seattle team. I mean, did we not see what the fuck the Bills just did to them? They made Geno Smith cry. They had people fighting each other in this game. The Rams are coming off of extra rest with Thursday Night Football after they just beat the fucking Minnesota Vikings, who I think are a significantly better team than the Seahawks. And the Rams are now a road favorite, which are 4-1 straight up and 3-2 ATS in their last 5.
Division road favorites. You're set.
Yeah. Rams are... Now, Seattle is going towards the bye, which I know normally teams do well in. But they don't have DK Metcalf again. He's just been ruled out for a second week.
That's the big one.
What offensive identity does this team have without DK Metcalf? Which I never thought I would say to myself because I never thought DK Metcalf would be that important of a role for this fucking team. But, you know, here we fucking are. And Seattle is just a shell of themselves with no identity.
Can't run the ball.
Mike McDonald might be the biggest fraud head coach hiring this year. This guy might not be any good. I'm trusting the division road spot here for the favorite. I'm trusting that Seattle is horrendous to bet on at home. 2-7-1 ATS in their last 10. Geno as a starter in Seattle has only gone 3-9 ATS. And this is just a game where I watch this and I'm going to wonder, is this the end of his career? Because is this just the spot where, like, we've seen the best of Geno? He's done everything he can. Thank you for your service, but this is it. This is the end of the line. We're done with you. So,
is this going to be another year where the Bills just, like, end careers? And Tua and Geno?
Yeah, I really do.
Oh, by the way, pack in your over tickets because I have a feeling the Rams are putting up a 30 burger this week.
Ooh, Rams
I
team total
endorsed that
overs
play.
bets.
I endorse that play completely. I don't think Seattle's defense is any good. We saw it last week. They showed more fight against each other than they did the actually stopping the Bills. I know it feels a little Barney because you're basically like getting Seattle at their lowest. But like you said, they have no identity. They can't run the ball. I think Geno's going to have another 2 turnovers. And like you said, the Rams own the Seahawks to begin with. They're coming on long rest. No DK Metcalf, who surprisingly, they thought he might be available. And then they're like, no, we're going to bring him back after the bye. Maybe there's some issues in paradise there. Yeah, I don't like the Seattle team at all. Give me the Rams all the way. Endorse completely.
Yes, sir. And I got over in this game as well. It's a scary line, but I think it's like you said, Rams could get 30 on their own, but we've seen this Rams defense questionable at times. We've seen them give up a lot of garbage points too. I think Geno could have a bounce back spot with Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Division road favorites too, believe it or not, 12-5 towards the over this year in the 17 spots at this point. So high number, just kind of trusting the trend once again. But yeah, I think I've said my piece. So all right, last 4:00 game, we have, oh boy. This is an ugly one. It's the Green Bay Packers now catching only 2.5 points at home, plus 122 as a home underdog. They're hosting the Detroit Lions, minus 2.5, minus 144 on the money line. Over-under is set, 44.5? 47.5. I don't know why I misread that. 47.5 points. Detroit's getting 81% of the money, 78% of the bets. They are now number 2 as a public team. Mansmann, the number 1 ATS team in the league, or at least in the NFC.
Yep.
Next to the Commanders. Versus the Green Bay Packers, who have failed to cover 2 straight against the Jags and the Texans.
Oh yeah, you're telling me.
I know. I lost that money too.
Well, no, I teased, so I was fine. But yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Been on Green Bay the past few weeks. That hasn't been great. Oh, so here's my major concern about this game. My major concern is Jordan Love, right? He's practicing on a limited basis. He's questionable. And I'm concerned that he may not play. Because if he doesn't play, I'm going to like my bet on the Lions a lot less. Give me the Detroit Lions here. Best ATS team in the league. Look, Jordan Love, I hope he plays. I want Jordan Love. I don't think Jordan Love is good. I think he's an average quarterback who turns the ball over way too much. I discount Aaron Rodgers in his prime, discount Patty Mahomes, whatever you want to call him. I don't think Jordan Love's that good. And I heard a lot about the stats regarding, Jared Goff outside in the elements, not as good. But you look at this Detroit offense, and 6th in rush yards a game, 10th in pass yards a game, but number 1 in yards per pass. And you look at this Green Bay defense, not all that great. 19th in pass yards allowed per game, 10th in opponent rush yards a game. This Green Bay defense isn't great. They gave up 27 points to Jacksonville last week. I'm sorry. I think Detroit's the better team here. I think Jordan Love, even if he plays, and I want him to play, I think you're getting a hobbled Jordan Love. We saw that against the Vikings. How that turned out wasn't great. The Lions all the way, especially if you could get the Lions under 3. I think that's a smash.
Yeah, I can't fault the logic with you on this one. I I don't care if this is too simplistic of a handicap. We're just going to ignore that the Packers have lost 4 of their last 5 against Detroit. Forget the ATS stats on them. Forget that, Detroit on the road is 11-2 ATS since last year. Here's what I told myself a couple weeks ago. If Green Bay fails to cover against the Texans, I'm fading them against the Lions. And I said the same thing with Jacksonville. Even though I picked Green Bay to cover that spot, I said, if they fail to cover here, I'm definitely fading them against the Lions. Well, guess what? They failed to cover against the Texans. They failed to cover against the Lions. That was 3.5 and 2.5. Now, I don't know if anybody watched the Thursday Night Football game with this Texans team. And I understand. Wait, no, Green Bay was at home. That's right. Green Bay was at home as a 2.5 point favorite. And they couldn't cover that against the Houston Texans that just got beat down by Aaron Rodgers out of the darkness. And now this line is telling me it's only a 4-point swing against the number 1 ATS team in the NFC. Make that make sense, people. What in the fuck are we doing? Trying to bet on this Green Bay team here with Jordan Love, who, by the way, once they announced he was practicing, the line went down. So you're telling me that a Malik Willis at quarterback for Green Bay is only 3.5 points as a dog? When Jared Goff literally, I know he's injured too with the ankle, but literally did nothing against the Titans. And when I say nothing, he didn't have to. And they beat them by 40.
That's nothing.
I mean, that's fair. I shouldn't say he did. That's fair. I apologize. Jordan Love is going to fight through a groin injury on limited practice and start under 3 points as a dog. No Jair Alexander. No Evan Williams, a safety. Josh Jacobs limited to practice too. But Green Bay is a smart play. And Green Bay is such a smart play. With Detroit, who is a top 3 DVOA team in all 3 categories of football. Offense, defense, special teams. Am I retarded or something? Am I missing a lot? Like, what are the Vegas books thinking here? Making this 2.5 with Detroit and Green Bay. Like, this is like night and day with these teams.
The Sharps are going to run to bet on Green Bay, which is what they're doing. And this is a pros versus Joes game, and I think the Joes are going to win.
I think the Joes are going to slam dunk this one. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm with the Joes. I'm with Joe Public. Home run homer. Give me the fucking Lions minus 2.5 all day. I'm trying to see if I even bet them yet. I think I did, but I just want to be sure. Because if I didn't, I'm live betting that one too.
By the way, if Jordan Love plays, this is definitely going to be Jordan Love interception.
Oh, yeah. Lock that in for sure. Lock in David Montgomery for a touchdown too. Like the spot. Lock him in for 2, honestly. If there's no pass defense, they're going to just drive the ball down the field.
To give you an idea, in interception percentage, 29th in the league, so one of the worst teams in throwing interceptions. Detroit, number 4 in interceptions on defense. So that's weakness versus strength right there. Get the Jordan Love interception prop primed and ready.
Yeah, David Montgomery, by the way, 7 touchdowns on the year. Nothing on the receiving end, but here's my thinking. I just think that Detroit's going to drive the ball down the field against the secondary. They're going to get to the goal line, and then Montgomery's just going to run in for a few. So I love David Montgomery, 2 touchdowns from this game. You'll probably get really good odds, probably over 500. I'd have to double check, but Jahmyr Gibbs, I think anytime as well. But yeah, David Montgomery plus 425. Little low for my liking on that angle, but
what about first touchdown plus 550? David Montgomery first study plus 550.
I can get plus 600 on Fanatics.
Oh, there you go, even better. I endorse it.
You know what? I'll play a half unit. David Montgomery first touchdown. I'll play it. Dead over game 2, in case you couldn't tell. Or dead on over 48.5. Just because, I mean, Detroit could do this on their own. They kind of proved that last week with the Tennessee Titans. It was like, what? Weren't they like the number 2 defense in the league? Number 1, and now they're getting a drop down in defensive class that's injured as all hell.
Yeah.
Maybe their special teams will get 2 more touchdowns. I don't know, but yeah, it doesn't seem to matter to me. So I'm going over in this spot. All right, Sunday Night Football. The Indianapolis Colts are now catching 5.5 points once again, even though that's where it opened. They're 2-1 underdogs on the road. Sunday Night Football, traveling to Minnesota at the space station. -5.5 for the Vikings and Sam Darnold. -245. Over-unders 46.5. New quarterback controversy in the league. Anthony Richardson is benched for the remainder of the season. Joe Flacco will now start from here on out. And it looks like in response to that, Minnesota's still a public side. 75% of the money, 70% of the bets. Well, Money Mansmann, your dream has come true. Anthony Richardson is now benched. He is no longer starting quarterback. You now got Joe Flacco. He's going up against your boy, though, Big Dick Sammy.
No, this is a tough one.
Really? You think this is a tough one?
I do. I think this is a tough one because in my heart, I really want to bet Indianapolis. I really do. Because you know me, I'm a sucker for Joe Flacco. He's the guy. I've been waiting for him. But this is a bad spot. On the road, Minnesota coming off a long rest, losers of 2 straight, going back home. Joe Flacco's not very mobile. You know that Brian Flores is going to blitz the paste off of Indianapolis. Only one way I could look in this game, and I hate to do it. God, I really like Indianapolis, but I just have a feeling that Minnesota's gonna get it done in this one.
Gotcha. I think I'm getting too cute here because I literally did go on a rampage about Anthony Richardson and this Colts team in our recap episode back on Wednesday. Flacco is back at quarterback. So on one hand, I think maybe the receivers actually catch the fucking ball this time around. Maybe Flacco's positive passer rating or whatever is just now the Colts are going to magically beat this Vikings team. Nah, not likely. The Colts have lost 5 of their last 6 as road dogs, but they did cover 3 straight in this span. This is the kind of matchup where I just think that trend continues. I think the Colts will backdoor cover this 5.5. I don't have any expectations of them to win this game, though. The Vikings have just been struggling to close out games since that Jets win in London. They've been way better at home, though, and they are coming off that extra rest, like you mentioned. This point in the season, that extra rest comes in handy, and I think we're going to see a reversal of trends where teams with the extra rest, it really didn't seem to matter at first, but now I think it comes into play when injuries start piling up. The Colts, I don't know if the move to Flacco is just going to make things better or worse. I just think it's a very odd move to make it now when it really should have been done last week. And yeah, it's a significant upgrade at quarterback. I'm thinking market value. This opened at 5.5 with the idea that Anthony Richardson was starting. It went down to 4.5. And then Joe Flacco got announced. And it went back to 5.5. So it seems like a lot of the sharp money saw Joe Flacco getting started. And they just don't like the aura or the fucking... Like, I don't know what the mentality in the locker room is right now in Indianapolis. Based on the press conferences, it doesn't seem like a Shane Steichen move. It seems like a management move with Jim Irsay. Do with that what you will, but I think market value, if the line doesn't move with an upgrade at quarterback, there's something wrong. I'm taking the Colts plus 5.5, but none of my tickets have this in it, though. Minnesota money line does, however. So
yeah, I think Minnesota money line would be the play. I just have a concern that the Colts aren't going to be able to run the ball. Flacco's going to have to throw the ball 50 times, and that this could just be a situation where Minnesota is just the better team. Because I think Minnesota probably is the more complete team. Although you got to worry, Minnesota lost 2 straight, and there were some sharps talking about the fact that, preseason, Colts 8.5 win total team, Minnesota 7. Maybe there's regression to the mean. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. What do you make of the over-under on this one? I believe we have it set at, it's coming through the ticker right now. It's a Sunday night football game, so I think I naturally lean under, but it's 46.5.
46.5. Have a feeling under. Maybe a couple sacks, field goals. I don't know, though. Not confident at all. It's a tough one. That's a tough game.
Yeah, definitely not one of the easier ones. Not making it a best bet. Final game, Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Tampa Bay Bucks on Monday Night Football. Chiefs are now 9.5-point home favorites again, minus 480. The Bucks are plus 370, plus 9.5 on the spread. Over under is 45.5 points. Kansas City only getting 58% of the bets and 53% of the money, though. What is going on with this line movement? Was at 8.5. Now we're back up to 9.5. Baker still doesn't have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Oh, boy. I have one play for this game. This is my over of the week, and I'm going over 44.5 points. Really, this is just following the trend of this Buccaneers defense. They have been fucking horrendous at the pass defense. They have been horrendous on defense altogether. And the Chiefs, they've been kind of struggling lately, but they're constantly winning games. They don't care about the cover. They don't care about blowing teams out. They just want to win. And this is actually going against the trends with the Chiefs, speaking of, because Mahomes in his last 8 Monday Night Football matchups, the under has hit in 7 of the last 8. And all but the last 2 of them, this number was actually higher. So, this is one of the lower trends of the over-under bets. But Baker Mayfield, 1-3 ATS, 3-1 towards the under as well in his 4 Monday Night Football matchups as a buck. The reason I'm picking this as an over is that this just seems like that Vegas is setting that number based on precedence and based on this Bucs offense being stuffed without a Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I think we saw what happened, though, last week against Atlanta. We saw what Baker was able to do, and he held his own against... I think he's going to be able to hold his own against Kansas City, albeit the Chiefs are 5th in pass defense. The Bucs defense is 29th. The Bucs defense allows 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown on average per game. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, 0.6 of rush touchdowns, 1.3 in pass, maybe 2 touchdowns max on average a game. For me, this is one of 2 ways. You either just bet the over and pray, or if the over isn't enough and, you just want to get some extra value, throw the Chiefs money line in that, make it plus money. That way you have a little bit of a fucking sprinkle to, make it a little bit more exciting, get plus odds. Especially if you're concerned with the spread and you want nothing to do with it like I do, this is the angle I'm going at it with. Chiefs haven't been able to cover a mattress with a king-size sheet in God knows how long. I just think, though, the way the defenses have been, this screams to me Chiefs blowout. We saw what the Bucs did against the Broncos earlier this year when they played a top 5 defense. Chiefs, I don't know if they're top 5 necessarily, but they are top 10. I think if anyone's going to stop Baker...
I'll say it in my closing. I'll put it in my closing remarks. I just remembered something that I forgot. We got to put in the
Gotcha.
closing remarks.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, for me, this won't be in the contest. It's an NFC non-conference road dog. Those teams this year, they've gone NFC non-conference road teams. They're 10-8 straight up in ATS, but the non-conference dogs, they're 10-6 ATS, 8-8 straight up. So I don't even know why I'm stressing about the point difference. I think it's wrong either way. I don't know. We saw the Saints come in with a similar mentality, and then they lost and failed to cover the spread too. I have a feeling the same thing's going to happen here. So I'm going with the Chiefs minus 9.5, but not going to be on any tickets. Might be on a teaser later down the line, but I got nothing else for that.
So I have a really, this to me seems almost too easy. Here's what you do with this game. You tease the Bucks up 6 points to 15.5. You put that in with, I mean, there's a bunch of teams you could throw in a teaser here this week. You could tease them with the Bills if you want. If you like the Vikings, you could tease them with the Vikings. Get it to, basically money line. You could tease. I'm trying to think what other.
What about the Eagles 7.5?
Tease the Eagles. Kansas City hasn't beaten a team by 15 points all year, and this to me, this game, I actually am playing Bucks 9.5 in the contest, just because this game has total backdoor potential. We know Baker Mayfield. They were playing at the end of the game against the Ravens and got it within 10. So the Bucks are gonna play for the back door.
Yeah, but the Ravens, to be fair though, the Ravens defense, they always struggle in the fourth. They should have won by more.
Kansas City has not won a game by more than 13 points all year. And they've played some shit teams. They beat the Saints by 13. They beat the Niners by 10. They beat the Raiders, Chargers, and Ravens by 7. They beat the Falcons by 5, Bengals by 1. That's it. They have not beaten a team by 15 points all year. And considering the way the Bucks throw the ball, yeah, I don't think they're beating the Bucks by more than 15 either. This, to me, just seems like an obvious tease play.
You didn't mention this too, but the Chiefs have a look ahead. And I didn't mention this in the handicap earlier.
Yeah, I guess you could say technically they're in second place.
The Chiefs have a look ahead to the Denver Broncos next week, 1 o'clock, at home. So back-to-back home games for the Chiefs. This could be exciting, but... Yeah, no, I think a lot of the sharps are on Tampa Bay here. I see this as a massive Baker letdown spot in primetime. Like, remember when this happened earlier last year when they played Philadelphia? Or wait, no, they fucking beat the Eagles. Never mind. Just forget I said that. Yeah. All right, we're at the 2-hour mark, though. I got nothing left in this game. This is my over of the week. We can give out our best bets. We can give out any final player props. I know you had a final note, so Money Mansmann, what was that final note you had for the people?
So we're headed to Election Day.
That's right.
All you Democrats out there, I'm sure you'll be rooting for the Washington, whatever they call themselves. And look, it's looking good for you Democrats. I think you're going to get the election because the Giants suck. We like Washington, so I guess we're predicting Kamala Harris to win the election. You know what I'm talking about.
Wait, is that a thing?
Oh, no. You know what it is? It might already be a thing. Is it the last home game or the last game before the election? I know the thing is, if Washington wins before the election, the party in power stays in power. But I forgot if it's the last home game or the last game. I might have gotten that wrong.
Ooh. I thought it was different teams entirely. I didn't know it was the Commanders and Giants. I thought it had something to do with baseball for some reason.
Oh, no, it's the last home game The final home game result has indicated who would win the election 17 out of 21 times. The pattern referred to as the Redskins rule correctly predicted every presidential election from 1940 to 2000. Strangely enough, it's been incorrect the last 3 times. maybe that's bad for the Democrats. Because
So maybe they want the Giants to win.
no, it's specifically the last home game. The rule has been if the Commanders win or the Redskins win, the party in power stays in power. But the last 3 times it's gone the other way, so Trump might have won the election already.
Jesus. Yeah, we got election week. Remember to go out and vote, people. Make sure your voice is heard. Don't let anyone tell you you can't. Just punch them in the face if you have to. I don't endorse violence except for when your rights are infringed. But, yeah, Money Mansmann, give out your top best bets of the...
If you are inclined to do a write-in vote, Big Bucks of Beta, let's get some votes for him for president. Let's do it.
That's right.
Come on, we're
Steve.
in Maryland. Our state's over anyway. Harris is going to win at 8 o'clock. It's going to, So.
Yeah, it'll be night-night dipshit. We'll wake up. We'll have a new president. We'll see how work goes in the next week. But give out your best bets of the week. We'll finish off the episode. And then, I'll see you Sunday.
Yeah, see you Sunday in some capacity. You have to let me know how you want to do it.
Yeah.
Availability.
No, the beta household will be open.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay. Woo. All right. Best bets. Have to remember now. Oh, my fade of the week. I'm fading the Cleveland Browns, picking the Los Angeles Chargers -1.5. My best bet, Atlanta Falcons -3 against the Dallas Cowboys. And my second dog of the week. God, who did I end up going with? I had a few I was going to go with. My second dog of the week was, drum roll, please. I have to find the schedule. Who the hell did I pick as my dog of the week? Oh, shit.
I believe it was the Raiders.
Yes, thank you so much. The Las Vegas Raiders +7.5 against the Cincinnati Bengals.
There you go. Big Bucks Beta's best bet of the week. Take Rams -1.5. Dog of the week. I'm going New England Patriots +153. Fade of the week. We are fading the Ravens at home and 1 o'clock. We're taking the Broncos +9.5. Under of the week. We're going under 43.5 points in the New Orleans Carolina game. Over of the week is the Monday Night Football game. We're going over 43 or 44. Oh, it's going up to 45.5. Fuck. Over 45.5 points for the Bucks Chiefs game. I got nothing left. Money Mansmann, sign us out.
Thanks, Big Bucks. I'll see you on Sunday. Have a good night, DeGents. Get out there and vote. Unless you're voting for... No, I'm just kidding. Get out there and vote. Have a good night. Everyone be safe out there. But most importantly, as always, make that motherfucker
Go win the motherfucking money. Have a good night, DJ.